Hey guys, Jabari Lewis Smith here, and we'll be looking into the game Furi. Furi? Furi. Okay.
Welcome to the JTendo show, and I can see that we're all on a roll. There will be good games and some bad, but I can say since you're here that I'm really glad. And then Tendo we all know and love, they produce games from heaven above, like Cuddling Zen and Mario. But if the game sucks so much ass, let's be sure to put them all on blast. Wait to see what we have for you right here at the JTendo show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the JTendo show. It's been a year and a half since the last episode due to focusing on school and other projects, but I decided to bring it back for a little bit more fun. Since the last episode, the Nintendo Switch has come out and it has become the fastest selling game system in history. Alongside that, Nintendo released many fantastic games with many more to come in the future. Now let's get into the game Furi.
You were a weapon, a bringer of death, and now you're nothing. I will keep on killing you, again and again. I am your future, an eternity of slow, painful deaths.
I hear thunder, pitter patter. Time to wake up.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here with you.
Shake your head, nod your head. It's time to go.
Getting into the story, you play the character known as the Stranger or the Writer. Not knowing much info about your past, you wake up in an incredibly elaborate prison enduring an array of endless torture. You are suddenly released by the person known as the Voice, who sneaked into the highly guarded cell and drops your weapons, which are the key to your escape. Suddenly you are thrown into a series of boss battles in which you have to catch on to the opponent's tactics and movements in order to defeat them. You have little information on how you got into the situation or what type of person you were before, but all you know is that
The jailer is the key. Kill him, and you'll be free.
most of the game, it is difficult to understand whether you are the hero or the villain in the game, which is pretty badass. Furi is developed by an independent game studio located in France called The Game Bakers. They seem to be a small studio but collaborate with people from all over the world in order to develop their games. Furi actually came out in 2016 for other systems such as the PS4, but got another release for January 11, 2018 for the Nintendo Switch. From the ending credits and their website, the Game Bakers have a lot of inspiration from Japanese games and animation implemented into Furi. They even state that the character designer for Afro Samurai did character design in Furi, which is pretty awesome and also explains the Afro Samurai feels I get when looking at the character, the Stranger. In game, there are about 9 to 10 different fights that you need to go through in order to gain your freedom. From the get-go, the game is difficult. At the start of the game, you are able to choose your difficulty, in which the Furi version is recommended to you, so that's the one I chose. I got to say that this shit is hard. In this game, you will get your ass handed to you. The first boss is supposed to be a how to play tutorial, but even that is relentless in its difficulty. Some of the bosses taking me over 2 hours to defeat, which each one will piss you off in their own special ways. I never expected to beat a boss on the first try, nor did I expect to beat a boss wave on the first try. It really is a trial and error for a good portion of the battle until you understand the enemy's attacks, movements, and tricks. Once you've done that, you actually feel like less like shit and can play like a pro until you defeat them. You get to use a sword and a pistol with an unlimited amount of ammo. A lot of times enemies may become immune to certain attacks, so you will have to figure out a different way to break the enemy's defense and counter them to progress. Even running like a little bitch could be a smart tactic. One of the smartest things that you should get used to is using your guard. Timing is important in a game, so being able to properly defend can save you by a long shot. If you successfully guard against an enemy's attack, you may be able to break your enemy's attack cycle and auto-release a barrage of attacks or even a powerful guard break counter attack, which is different for each boss. The other benefit of learning how to guard early on is that you regain a bit of health for each successful block. You will certainly appreciate it at the end. One of the coolest things about the game are the one-on-one battles. Each boss has a period where the only way to progress further is to go head-to-head, which changes the strategies you have to use in order to defeat your opponent. The usage of the pistol is no more, and that can be a scary thought when you become accustomed to it. Furi is pretty great. It's only 20 bucks, yet it's 20 bucks that pack a punch. Some of the things that is a downer are the things such as the difficulty of the game. The difficulty in the game is unforgiving. After getting a hang of the game, I decided to rank myself on how well I do. If I die under 100 times, then I'm pretty solid. 150 times, decent, but I need more work. 200 times, I'm bad. 250 times, then I suck and I should stop playing. Well, at the end of the game, I found out that I died over 350 times. I didn't even have a skill for that, so I guess I'm just going to give my Switch away to a person who is more deserving of it. Well, no, I wouldn't do that shit. But I did feel like shit at the end of the game. Yeah, the game is difficult, but it being difficult can be a good thing as well. I personally love a challenge, so I enjoyed it to the end. But I imagine if someone who isn't as game savvy as me plays the game, they may not enjoy it at all.
Look at the filth around you. Darkness. Look at me. Don't look so horrified. You're staring at yourself. You did this to me. Finally. Revenge.
Adding on, there sometimes is a slight lag in the game. It happens every once in a while and doesn't interfere with the gameplay too much, but when it does, it sucks ass. The lag could be caused just because of how much is going on at one time, or maybe because of bugs in the game, as some people have reported in the past. Which, of course, there are always going to be bugs in the game. Overall, it sucks when it happens, but it's easily forgivable since the game moves so fast. Another thing that I hate is this. What are you doing, man? Come on, let's go. Fuck. Hey! Hurry the fuck up! Fuck, man, I'm just playing. Calm down. Fuck. Yes, I do hate it, especially because I always want to rush forward to the next stage, but there is a reason for the slow walking. As you are between opponents, the talker talks to you about the upcoming enemies, hinting at their tactics, their backstory, and how they relate to you.
Let me tell you some more about what this one did to you. You need to know. Then there'll be no stopping you. He is the one who got you here in the first place. He is the one who brought you down. He led the men who captured you. Hundreds of them against you. Was that fair?
It's all very interesting, yet it still only reveals a little of the whole story. Also, as you are walking through to the next battle, you get to see the design and the structures of the area, which is super cool and cinematic. When I first started, I saw that you can control the character manually and walk very slowly to places, but a lot of times I would get lost or take the wrong route and have to slowly walk back to the right place. It took me a while to notice that there was a button for the character to auto-walk to the correct destination. B. The final downside of the game is the inability to explore the world. The game is all very linear. The only part where you get to freely walk around and see things is when and if you escape all the levels of containment and into the free world. Even then, it's very minimalistic on where and what you can do. Yeah. Alright, enough with the negativity. Let's look at the positives and my favorite parts of the game.
He who knows no fear, knows no courage. I take mine from you. We are what we fight for. I look at you, stranger, and I see nothing. Desolation. Death. You are alone. I am fighting for something much greater than this. Can you imagine the strength that gives me? I doubt it. And so your fight ends here.
I wasn't expecting this game to have voiceover at all. The actors did a fantastic job, and you can also change the language to French and Japanese, and also English, of course. The dialogue in the game is engaging, and the voice actors really brought it to a whole different level of appreciation. Games that allow you to focus on intensive, fast-paced, and strategic one-on-one battles are my favorite when it comes to fighting games. You don't have to worry about hordes of weak enemy attacking you and distracting you. Well, in some instances there is just that, but it's just enough.
You sure took your time. I was concerned you wouldn't make it this far. This is a big day for me. I've been waiting a long time for this moment. Let me show you.
One of my favorite battles throughout the whole game was the samurai fight. Everything that I love about one-on-one battles just seeped out in that battle. It was difficult because the dude can basically take out your whole health bar in 3 hits, but this match really tested how good at guarding and striking you are, and also how quick of a thinker you can be. There are many instances where there was no time for thinking, no time for any hesitation, or you will miss your chance. The fight was pretty satisfying. Just the last part, I failed to realize that you were able to attack the samurai to defeat him at the last wave. Most bosses at the final wave, you have to just survive their barrage of attacks until they gun out, then it's like an easy kill. Another battle I loved was the first battle against the jailer. The fight set the whole tone of the game for me and showed you all the badassery that this game could be. The last fight that I like to mention was the sewage fight. This one scared the shit out of me. I guess I may have trauma of things in murky waters or just drowning in general. Don't want to drown. Just to recap, Furi is an awesome game. It's fast-paced, requires strategy and memorization, it's difficult from the get-go, and with its amazing dialogue and futuristic retro look, it engages the player throughout the whole game. This game may not be for people who are younger or aren't well adapted to playing fast-paced games, but for $20, it gives you one hell of a punch. There are some things that I hate about the game, such as the lag, the difficulty from the get-go, and the lack of free roaming, but there are some big positives, such as the one-on-one close-up battles, the dark tone, and the engagement of strategy. Furi has 3 different difficulty settings, as well as 3 different ending scenarios, but I won't ruin those for anyone and allow others to enjoy the choices they make. I hope that the creators make a second one which gives more details on the backstories and extends the current story. Also, it will be nice to be able to play against other players with different characters in the game for a fast-paced frenzy of heartache and punishment by other players. Well, that's it for Furi. Give it a try. See you guys next time, and thanks for watching.